Welcome to Comic Book Addicts.
It's time for Scott's Comic Addicts on YouTube, so subscribe it. He's had guests like Actual Drac, Roscoe and Ross Stack, Immortal Biggie Shack, Trish Forstner, Rancy, Bizzle, Beckerman, and K-Pop, Extrom, Fire, Ryan, Gary B, and My Boy Shop, Sergio Giovanni, Jamboy and Orient Trunk, Dale of Suspense, Charlotte, Gaston, Tony from Comicverse, is Scott's Comic Addicts, Thomas Holes and Frank's BS, Chris the Comic Vet, Evil and DJ Links, and Lady Fantastic. Meet Travis Murray and Bueller and Brian LCS, Corey Perkins, Justin Gray, Crafty Comics, Derek Kirk, Bleeker, Fable, Sonia, Danielle, Nizzy Verse, Tom Brayfogle, Rod the Scoundrel, Collecting My Boy Durs, is Scott's Comic Addicts on Mondays, so don't miss it. It's Vaughn 82, a song by Freaky Lou. We're on the YouTube, nominated by yous. Leave a like and fabu. It's Scott's Comic Addicts. Let's go get it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Comic Book Addicts. It is Monday, November 2nd at the time of this recording. Welcome to Comic Book Addicts, episode 92. And I normally have a little bit of an intro lined up. I do shout outs and talk about a few different things. But tonight, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase because we got a lot of cool things going on. I got a special co-host I'm about to bring out, and we have an awesome special guest tonight. But I wanted to acknowledge everybody that voted for me at the time that this will air, November 2nd. The CBC Award nominee finalists voting is a wrap. It's all wrapped up and over with. But I wanted to take a second to thank anybody that voted for me or the channel. Thank you all very much. I appreciate anybody that supports the channel, of course. And got some cool stuff coming for the channel this year. And I'll continue doing the Wednesday videos and all that cool stuff. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for any votes and all of your supports. And thank you for watching if you're watching right now. But before I continue to blab on and on, I have an awesome co-host. She was actually on here as a special guest about, I think, like a month ago, and we had a great time. We had a blast. It was a really good time. So I had to ask her to come back on, and I lured her with the special guest tonight. But y'all help me welcome back to Comic Book Addicts for the second time, Tessa.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for coming back and helping me with the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
You know, the proper way to lure me to any situation is just to involve Bumpkins. As soon as he's there, I just appear. It's kind of weird.
Well, I knew that you guys were friends and that you got along pretty well. So I thought that it would make for a good show if I ask you back. And we had a great time the last time you were on. I really enjoyed talking to you, as always. I always do. And you're a lot of fun. So I'm glad to have the excuse.
Gonna make me blush. Thank you.
But how are you doing today?
Obviously, I am great. I get to hang out with you guys all night.
Yay. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to I've actually wanted to have Matt on the show for a long time because he is also from Chattanooga, and he's somebody I've known for a couple of years through Infinity Flux, amazing comic shop. And I've gotten to know him over time, and he's a genuinely good guy, and he knows so much about comic books. So he's going to be a great guest for the show. I couldn't wait to have him on. What do you think about Matt? He's okay? Fine.
Yeah. Sounds like, 5 out of 10, whatever. He's all right.
5 out of 10. Wow. Well, let's bring him out. Let's go ahead and just bring him out and see what he has to say about
that. I said bad things about
him. My guest this evening is, like I was saying a second ago, a fellow Chattanooga resident. He is a huge comic book collector. And not only does he do content on his own channel for BumpkinsTV, but you can also catch him over on the Infinity Flux YouTube channel, where he shares his vast comic knowledge with the world, keeping us up to date with what's on pre-order and what's coming out. One of the smartest comic people I know. Y'all help me welcome Matt from BumpkinsTV.
What's up, guys? Oh, it was so weird. I was
backstage
and I couldn't defend myself.
I was actually just talking about you. I was saying how great you are. Oh my gosh.
You said I was a 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah, 11 out of 10 even. Yeah.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Matt. You're somebody that I've wanted to have on the show for a while because, like I was saying before, I got a tremendous amount of respect for you. I think you're an amazing person, but better than anything, you're a huge comic collector like myself. Yeah. You're always coming home with what you've deemed the term big old fat What is it?
Big old
fat stack of books.
I always hold up a big old stack of books.
Big old stack of books. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're always coming home with a big old stack of books like myself. And you know a lot about comics. You're fun to talk to. Just a genuinely good guy. And I'm glad to have you here with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Like, I know, and congratulations on your success over here, because you've been at this for a good while now. You need to update your intro, because
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, you're at over 4K subs, and the intro has like 2.9 or something. So you gotta put that out there. But yeah, you've been killing it over here. And thank you for asking me on, because like, I know you do this show every Monday night, and I have a show that I do Monday night as well. So our schedules just don't line up. So it was cool to be able to do it this way.
I got to get you on the big screen here. You're the special guest. We
we need Bumpkins as big as possible.
Yes. But yeah, you do the show over at Infinity Flux. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite show to keep me up to date on what's up for pre-order. That's always how I've kept up with what I was going to order each week, is watching. And slowly over time, it's evolved from Jason and Megan doing the Jason, Megan, and Andy. It slowly evolved to you and Andy. But we're going to talk all about that. I want to get to that. But anyway, how are you doing this evening? You doing all right today?
Oh yeah, doing great. The work day's over, and I don't have any other responsibilities tonight, so I can just hang out with you guys. I can go read some comics later, and maybe watch a movie or something. It's one of my chill nights for the week.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I mentioned before, you are also a Chattanooga resident. Very cool. Were you born and raised here like myself?
No. I moved here back in 2002 after I graduated college. So I got a job down here, and but I actually have been here longer than anywhere else I've lived in my life. So nice. So I've been here for a little over 20 years.
Okay, cool. Well, have you been a lifelong comic book collector, or was that something that you picked up? I know you mentioned, I've watched some of your videos in the past, and you were talking about your comic card collecting as a kid.
Yeah.
Were you a comic book collector as well as a kid?
Yeah, so like I grew up all through the 80s, right? And every kid in the 80s was a nerd at some point. So I grew up with comic books. My mom would buy me a comic off the spinner rack when she would go to the grocery store or whatever. So I had some, I had some Spider-Man, I had some Thor, some Superman and stuff like that. And I would just read them randomly whenever. But it wasn't until, I've had them my whole life, and I've read them my whole life, but it wasn't until 1991 with, and I actually have the binder here, just in case we talked about this, with the Marvel Series 2 trading cards from 1991. I've got the whole, these are great. In 1991, I spent it out at my buddy Travis's house. He had a whole bunch of extras of these, and he gave them to me. And I didn't know who any of these characters were at the time, other than like Spider-Man, Captain America, those guys. But I was like, who is Night Thrasher? Who is, I'm just looking at some of them. Who is Quicksilver? Who is Havoc? Like, I don't know who these guys are. There's a card about Wolverine and Sabretooth being arch enemies. Like, why are they fighting? Why are they arch enemies? I have no idea, but I want to know. So that's what started my journey into actually true blue collecting comics, going to the comic shop every week, having a pull box, buying a stack of comics every week. So I've been doing that since, for what is that, like 33 years now. So
wow,
didn't start that way, but yeah, I mean, I've been reading most of my life, but not actually collecting until 91.
Are you still friends with Travis?
Yeah, we talk every day. He's I think he's my only high school friend, or actually we were friends before high school, but yeah, he's the only one that I still keep in touch with. Like, we talk every day. So
that's
that's really cool.
Yeah,
man, awesome. What were some of the comic books that got you hooked? Do you remember any of the particular books?
Well, I've been a Spider-Man fan since I was 4 years old, when I've got my original Secret Wars Spider-Man figure that I still have.
Nice.
And so that's what started the thing. Some of my first comics were these little, I wish I had them here, these smaller Spider-Man comics that I got out of packs of High C. And they were actually reprints of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, but they were just random reprints. And but I read those over and over. So I was always a Spider-Man fan. And so when I did start collecting on a regular basis, I was like, well, I've got to buy Spider-Man, right? And I started with, it's funny because I started with Amazing Spider-Man 351, which is the very first issue that Mark Bagley came in on.
Okay.
And then, just went from there and started buying Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Adjectiveless Spider-Man. And, all through the 90s, I was a big Spider-Man and X-Men guy, just like everybody else was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then, in a year after I started collecting on a regular basis, when Image came out, I was like, whoa, what is this? I'm like on the ground floor of this new company. So, I bought a bunch of Image stuff, just like everybody in the 90s did.
Of course,
so it was, it was just, and it sounds kind of boring because it's the typical 90s thing, but it was Spider-Man, X-Men, and Image, all through the 90s. But it's just that's what I was into.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good stuff. Yeah, for sure. What's your favorite X-Men character? Do you have a favorite?
Nightcrawler.
Yes, I love Nightcrawler. That's one of my favorites.
I love Nightcrawler. I've always.
What's your favorite, Tessa?
I do often say Nightcrawler, maybe Polaris. Like, I don't have like a solid pick right now. I'm reading the whole original run though, so like I'll get back to you.
Awesome.
I gotta say, Bumpkins, I'm really enjoying getting to see more of your shelves. Usually on your TikTok videos, I only get to see about half the I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's usually like to my shoulders. Awesome. So I need to try to figure out how to do this more or something. But
because they go. It's such a big room.
They go to wall. So it's.
Oh my goodness.
Nice. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's awesome. Do you let's see. Are you more of a, would you say you're more of a Marvel fan or DC fan?
So
I know you like both, obviously.
Yeah. So my, first answer is both, right? Because I don't believe in, having to swear allegiance to one or the other. I only like Marvel. I only like DC. I only like iPhones or Androids or Xbox or PlayStation. I don't believe in, Zack Snyder or James Gunn. That's a big thing online. I don't believe in swearing allegiance to just one thing. You just like whatever you like, right? All through the 90s, I was a bit of a Marvel zombie. I'd say sometimes I was a Marvel snob because I didn't really read much DC or anything else. Okay. I read the big stuff like Death of Superman and Nightfall and stuff. But I was always a Marvel guy. And then around 2008, I was like, I want to start reading some DC because I love Green Lantern. And I've never really read Green Lantern. So I started reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, some of the best comics I've ever read. And that is what got me into DC comics, like hardcore, reading as much as I could, collecting them. So fast forward to now, and as it stands right now, I'm a much bigger DC fan because I think that what DC is doing, especially over the last couple of years with Dawn of DC, now the All In stuff, the Absolute Universe, they are just killing it. Like, they are giving us the best superhero comics on the stands, and they have been for at least a couple of years, if not longer. Where I feel like, if I'm being honest, Marvel is they've kind of lost their way a little bit. I feel like they're a little bit directionless. They're more quantity over quality. They're just like, let's just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. Whereas DC is like, we're going to make the most classic versions of these characters. We are going to put Superman at the forefront and make him awesome. Batman's always been awesome, but Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Green Arrow. So these days, I am much, much, much more of a DC fan. But the pendulum swings both ways. I wasn't much of a DC fan in 2011 with the New 52, but Marvel had some great stuff. So the pendulum swings one way, and it'll probably swing back one day. I don't know how, but but I mean, still both. I still buy plenty of Marvel books and plenty of non-big two stuff too. So but these days it's DC for now.
I feel like Marvel just keeps like pumping out number ones to try and get people to buy them, kind of thing, but not actually supporting these titles.
Yeah, and it's not to disparage Marvel, but like this weekend, I was reading my stack of books that come out this week, for our preparing for our video that we recorded yesterday, and I read, I was reading like Venom War Deadpool #2 or something like that, and I'm like, why is this a thing? I understand maybe the Venom War event. I feel like they're trying to shave some of the fat off all the symbiote stuff. And it's like, why do we have Venom War Deadpool, and why do we have Venom War Wolverine, and why do we have Venom War Fantastic Four that's coming out soon? Like, it's just a big bunch of just.
It's because money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like empty calories, right? It's like, I want to, I want to eat something that has a lot of calories, even though it doesn't really taste good, but I still just want to eat it. But all it's doing is giving me a lot of calories. I feel like Marvel is just like a bunch of empty calories. There's not a whole lot of substance there right now. There's not a whole lot of like super high quality stuff like there is in DC. And of course, that's just my own opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody else. But DC is just I'm just loving it so much because it feels like I mean they brought the Bullet logo back, for crying out loud. So you know that is so classic. It's like I feel like a kid again reading comics when I'm reading DC because it's just so classic, and you know they have like great creative teams and they're telling big stories. I mean they're doing it right over there.
And through you getting excited about it, you talk about it. You cover it a lot on your channel, so I keep up with it through you a lot of times. And so I'm glad that you're keeping up with it because you keep me up to date. But it's fantastic. Like you're saying, they brought the logo back. They did a really nice foil with that logo on the cover.
Yeah.
I wish I would have pre-ordered, man. I missed out on it, but that was awesome. I'm really glad that they brought that back. And Absolute Batman was fantastic. I love Absolute Batman was really good. That's off to a good start.
Yeah, I mean the Absolute. So at the time of recording, Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Superman hasn't come out yet, but I've read both of those as well, and they are both phenomenal.
Really good,
like so good. Yeah,
that's
so
good.
so they are off to just an amazing start with the Absolute universe, and that's in addition to all the other cool stuff they're doing, right? So it's just, you know, the only thing that I'm not real that I feel like DC is missing on right now is Flash. I'm not a big fan of what's going on with Flash right now. So it's almost like they're not quite batting 1,000, but they're real close. You know, it's like, you know, they're doing 99% awesome stuff, and then there's Flash.
Well, being a collector for, you say, over 33 years, what do you think it is about comics that makes this such a good hobby for you?
Oh man, a bunch of things. So comics is it's my favorite medium. Like if I was stuck on a desert island and with only one form of entertainment, I would bring comics, right? Because with comics, there is, you know, Jack Kirby said this before too, there's no limit except for the creator's imagination. So you don't have to worry with, like, you know, movie budgets and effects and being able to do this. There is absolutely no limit to what kind of stories can be told in comics. Plus the fact that there is literally something out there for everybody, whether you're into superheroes, whether you're into horror books, sci-fi books, fantasy books, slice of life books, comedy, romance, whatever it is, there is literally something for everybody to read. Plus, what other hobby can you think of that gives you new content to consume every single week? Well, maybe like TV, I guess, but
not every single week forever. Like
sometimes,
that's true.
In total, sure, like all TV in existence, sure.
But I mean, you know, if you're like super hardcore into like 5 TV shows, I mean, those eventually, you know, go on, you know, the seasons end or whatever, and it's like, oh, I've got to wait for my favorite TV show. Not with comics. Comics, there is something every single week. And like a bunch of it, you know, there's so many books that come out every single week. There is just always something new, or something old. You know, if I didn't buy any new books, I would still have so much great stuff in the past to read. So it's just, you know, it's just, I don't know. There's just so much awesome stuff and so much of a variety that I just don't think you get that in any other medium, any other hobby, anything like that.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, of course there isn't that much good stuff because, like, you've read every single book behind you, of course.
No,
right?
Well, no. I mean, I think maybe I haven't read that one yet. So, you know,
just the one.
Yeah.
But the passion shows, man. It definitely shows, and I have a lot of respect for you because you're a great guy. On top of that, but you have a lot of passion for comic books, and you do this content on your channel, Bumpkins TV. And you put out content there, and you also do content like we were talking about before, a couple of days a week with Infinity Flux. And but what got you started? You originally you had your own channel and you were doing your own content with Bumpkins TV. Yeah, and that's kind of how it all started. What got you started sharing your love of comic books with the world through social media?
Well, you know, as much as I love comics and as fun as they are, I think it's even more fun if you share it with people, right? If I just sat here, if I came home on Wednesday and read my books and then put them back in the bag and then just sat there, like it's cool, but it's not as fun as being like, holy cow, guys, the new Spider-Man is great. So, you know, I just want to, you know, put something out there that will get other people excited. I've had plenty of people tell me that they got into comics or got back into comics because of my videos and stuff, which I'm always super humbled by, because that's the goal, right? But also to connect with people who like the same things I do, right? And now that I've been with, going to Infinity Flux for the last 4 years, and I met guys like you and Andy and everybody there, and so now I actually have people here to share that with where I didn't before, but then I have people online like Tessa and other like online friends that I can share it with too. So I feel like I'm a part of a big community now, whereas before I was just like, oh, it's just me sitting at home reading a comic and then I'm done, so just the community aspect, putting information out there too, because the comic industry isn't super great at making information about these books easily accessible. Or if it is, you have to know exactly where to go. So I just try to disseminate information about, hey, here's what's coming out this week, or here's a new book that was announced, or whatever. So just try to help people as well.
And you do. You keep me filled in a lot of times, and I think you do fantastic content.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Really, really good, knowledgeable content that's easy to in a lot of knowledge in a good bite-sized chunk, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do good stuff, man. And I'm glad that you do. And I share the passion, and I've loved getting to know you over the years through Infinity Flux. And I've enjoyed seeing the content that you just continue to do. And what all social media platforms can people find you on that are watching right now?
So my main one is TikTok. That's where most of my content is over on TikTok. There's lots of stuff there that's not on Instagram or YouTube, but TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Twitter. Although Twitter is kind of a
everyone go check out his Twitter. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Twitter's a nightmare. But yeah, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads probably are the top 4. With TikTok being like the main one.
So.
But and it's Bumpkins TV on all of them too, so it's not like anyone's different.
So it's the same name for all. Okay, so anybody that's watching, if you're for some reason not already following Bumpkins TV, please head over, hit the sub button on his YouTube channel, follow all the social medias. He's a really good guy. He puts out some great content, and I've always enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed getting to know you, seeing you at Infinity Flux so many times over the years.
Yeah.
And over the years, like you've become, you were always a loyal and really good customer to Infinity Flux. And, it's great to build relationships with the people at comic shops. It's always a really good thing to have a good relationship with those people. And you've sort of become like the unofficial mascot, in my opinion, for Infinity Flux. Like you're like the ambassador for Infinity Flux.
Oh my gosh. So much pressure now.
Yeah, dude, you really do a great job over there. I've watched you evolve from just doing content for yourself to filling in over there on occasion to just being a full-time part of the show now. And you're doing a great job with Andy. A fantastic artist, Andy Duggan, who does some tremendous comic book work. If you guys aren't familiar, you need to get familiar. Andy Duggan is a fantastic artist, but you do some fantastic content over there with him. And you guys, if you're not following or subscribed to Infinity Flux, I would highly suggest it, because that's how I keep up with what I'm going to pre-order. If I want to watch something in video form, I head to Infinity Flux, and that's where I get my stuff from.
Yeah.
Thanks
for
doing that, man.
Oh, sure. Our goal with all that stuff is, we don't mind if we're not your shop, because we have a lot of people who watch us from different parts of the country. Somebody left us a comment from Australia the other day, I think. So we don't mind if we are not your shop, but it's very important to us to put information out there, because, like I said, the comic industry isn't always the best at putting like super easy, accessible, easy to understand information out there. So we want to, our main goal is to just put information out there in a single place, and try to connect the right books with the right people, that kind of thing. And if you buy from us, that's great. But if not, then at least you've got the information that you need to, get something cool for yourself and also support the comic industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And they do online. They have a website, of course, Infinity Flux. Is it infinityflux.com?
.net.
.net. Infinityflux.net. So they do ship all over. So they have the capability. Now, you've been going to Infinity Flux for years, and I know that you're familiar with other shops. I know you've been to other shops over time and stuff, but you're a loyal customer to Infinity Flux, obviously. What is it about Infinity Flux that sets them apart from the other shops? Because there are a lot of other good shops out there. There's some really good comic shops out there. But what would you say sets Infinity Flux apart from the rest?
Well, I mean, when I started, obviously the first thing is they're 5 minutes away from my house. Like I can get in the car, and in the span of one song on the radio, I can be there, so they're really close.
Oh my
But
gosh.
That's always good.
I guess it's because, they're great because, if I didn't have them, I'd be driving to Pennsylvania to go to Cloud City to get my to get my comics up there. And for those who don't know, that's Tessa's shop, or 3 shops. So she's running an empire up there and doing an amazing job at it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just started going there like 4 years ago because for a really long time I had been digital only. Like I was buying my books digitally on Comixology, and then I think I was looking for some like Bronze Age Superman books or something that weren't available digitally. And I had been to Infinity Flux, I think back in like 2015, which was like their first. They opened in late 2014, I think. So it was maybe like the first summer they had been open. And they were kind of small at the time, and my son and I went there on Free Comic Book Day. And they were real small, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice," but they didn't have a whole bunch of stuff there. And then back in 2020, I was like, I really want to go back and see if they've got any more back issues or something. And I walked in, and they had gotten like twice as big. I was like, "Holy cow! Like, when did this happen? I need to start." And just being in there and seeing their new comic wall and their back issues and everything, which wasn't there when I went there the first time. I was like, I want to get back into the habit of going to a comic book shop. I miss that. I miss going every week and getting a stack of books or whatever. And so, I just started going every week, and it just kind of out of nowhere. I was just like, I just want to get back into this. And so I started going every week. And, but to answer your question, what sets them apart is, I mean, like they, it's a super clean store. It's so bright. Everybody there is so extremely friendly and welcoming. I mean, they have treated me so well over the last 4 years. It's the best experience. Even now, 4 years later, it's still the highlight of my week, getting to go in there every week and hang out with them and talk to them and get my comics, but also just like the community aspect, and like, it's just amazing. Yeah. So they run it's just a really well-oiled machine over there. They do such a good job at running the store. Obviously, they've been really successful. Coming, I think December is their 10-year anniversary. They've expanded 5 times in the last 10 years.
It's the whole building now.
It's the whole building. Yeah, they bought the whole building they're in. I mean, it's just seeing how well they do things and how well and they've grown is just remarkable. And I just want to support that in any way I can.
Absolutely. And they're a fantastic comic book shop. And Infinity Flux, I've watched them. They've grown so much. They started in that one little part of the building, and they slowly took over this whole building, and they've expanded and became this like really amazing comic shop. And even more than a comic shop nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Like they carry vinyl. They carry video games. They carry all kinds of stuff nowadays.
VHS, DVD, all kinds of RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Magic the Gathering cards, but also like Dungeons and Dragons stuff and Warhammer stuff. Like pretty much everything you could want is there.
VHS is just not something I hear so often for like a nerd store carrying. That's so interesting.
Yeah. And their section of that has gotten even bigger and bigger as well. It's like a whole wall now. It's amazing.
Is it like a whole strip mall now, basically?
It's like, so kind of like a strip mall. It's a plaza. And there are 5 suites in that plaza. And they started in one, and then they expanded to one, and the one on the end. Then that one on the end moved to this end. And then now they bought that entire plaza, and they're in every single suite now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it's really impressive. They've upgraded the signage. Everything's been upgraded and just looks absolutely beautiful. New t-shirt designs every year. Seasonal designs. They do all sorts of cool little extra things that make the shop extra cool, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Fantastic staff. They've always had it's somewhere that you can go and feel safe no matter who you are. Fantastic staff. They're all, like you were saying, very friendly. But yeah, if anybody's ever in Chattanooga, we have we're blessed with good comic shops here in Chattanooga. I don't think that there is a bad shop in Chattanooga, but I just think Infinity Flux is an extremely good one. I'll say that.
It's amazing. I love going there. I get excited every time, especially on Wednesdays. It's like, oh, sweet, new comic book day. I get to go see everybody there and get new books. And Wednesdays are like little micro holidays for me every week, because it's like, oh, it's like it's like a mini Christmas every week.
Absolutely.
And Scotty, I really like your shirt. You're looking very fashionable today. Yeah.
Who my shirt?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to wear the Infinity Flux. This is I think this is last year's design. I need to update. I think this is an older design now. I think they've upgraded since, but
yeah, there's a newer one. It's got a pocket with the logo on it. It's so comfortable. Like, it's super soft and it fits well. Like, it's great.
Yeah. And they got I saw the new Halloween design was pretty damn cool as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing the tote bag.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But you collect obviously a lot of omnibuses. You have a whole wall of amazing books. I only have like 3 in my collection, so I'm really jealous. What got you started collecting those?
So, actually, it was around COVID. It was right around when Rob Liefeld started his Robservations podcast. He started that during COVID, and I was out. Back then we didn't know what we didn't know, right? There was so much unknown. Everybody was nervous to leave their house or whatever. So I would just go for walks around my neighborhood in the evening, and that's right around the time he started his podcast. So I would listen to his podcast while I was walking around the neighborhood at night, scared to like get too close to anybody or anything. But he was talking about, I think on the first or second episode, he was talking about the Infinity Gauntlet omnibus that was right there, that was coming out that fall. This was like in March, but he was talking about that it was coming out in fall. And I was like, I read the Infinity Gauntlet when I was a kid in the 90s, and I would love to have all that in one book. I was like, but it's really expensive, but I think I might do it anyway. So I pre-ordered it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just spent that much on a book.
It's a little cheaper that way, though.
Yeah.
A little cheaper.
And then I think when I was looking, I also found the Daredevil by Frank Miller omnibus, like they call it the companion, which is basically just Frank Miller's second run on Daredevil. I don't know why they call it a companion, but I saw that on Amazon and it was like half off. And I was like, I love Frank Miller's Daredevil. I would love to have that in a book too. So I got that. That was the first one I ever owned was that one. And I came in, I was like, this is awesome. And then the Infinity Gauntlet one came in. I was like, these books are really cool. And then 4 years later,
many dollars later.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a ton of them over there in the corner of my living room that I'm just out of the shelf space for. And yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. If you've never seen it, you can catch it on his Instagram. Go over to Bumpkins TV on Instagram and just kind of scroll through and you'll get a good shot of his omnibus shelf. It is incredible. It's an amazing collection.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
it's well done.
It's fun. It definitely was not, I didn't buy it all at once. It definitely amassed over the course of, 4 or 5 years, but I like it.
A lot for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, maybe I went a little bit overboard.
Well, you see, obviously, and read a lot of books. You bring home a big stack of books to preview for the following week, and then you read the new comic book day stuff that you don't read as well. So you're always reading books. What would you say are some of the top titles that you've read this year?
This year, well, Absolute Batman is probably, I think as of right now, it might be the best book that I've read all year as of this moment. Narrowly edging out Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm telling you, those books are incredible. But
that's good to hear.
Ultimate, they really are. I hope a lot of people get those too. But Ultimate Spider-Man has been great because I have not been enjoying Amazing Spider-Man, so it's nice to have Ultimate Spider-Man. That's the Spider-Man that I want, right? And so it's been great. Fantastic Four, Ryan North's Fantastic Four has been phenomenal. It's nice. It's like almost like an anthology book, and it's less superheroes and it's more like family science adventures kind of thing. It's really, really fun.
And you're currently repping that right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
it that way.
Awesome.
Superman and Action Comics have been great. Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Batman, Wonder Woman. I mean, almost everything DC's been putting out.
All DC.
Except for Flash. But yeah, just the Iron Man series that wrapped up a while back. It was really good too. Just there's all kinds of good stuff right now. I mean, it's a great time to be a fan.
And Tessa, you're also reading a ton of books as well. What are some of your top books that you've read lately?
Can I just copy Bumpkins' answer?
Yes.
So as far as Marvel stuff goes, the Ultimate line in general, I've been enjoying some of the mutant stuff. I do like mutants a lot. Storm I thought was amazing. I like NYX. I like X Factor. I like Mark Russell. And then I like Hulk and I like Fantastic Four. That's kind of like it on my Marvel side, honestly. DC has been crushing it. I just read Plastic Man. It's so
my gosh.
Like
so good.
I like issue 1.
So good.
Read issue 2 and you want to stab your own heart. Like it's so dark.
Yeah, that ending of issue 2, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they just did that. That's like dark.
Yeah. And the like Roscoe cover was also so good.
Oh, so good.
Poison Ivy is phenomenal.
I'm missing out there. I'm missing out.
You are. I mean, hey, all in, all of those lines. It's like a great time to just jump in. Like, cool, you know.
It's a jumping in point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 26. Great issue to start.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I forgot to.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead.
Philip Kane Johnson's about to be on Batman and Robin, so I'm excited to like read that. I haven't read it yet, but I'm so psyched. I love PKJ.
It's really good.
He's
It's so good. And I forgot to mention all the Energon Universe stuff at Image, Transformers, and all the G.I. Joe adjacent books. All of those are fantastic. Void Rivals is great. The Ghost Machine books, Rook Exodus, Geiger, Hyde Street is really good. I mean, like all of that stuff is so great too. Yeah, it's really good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Indie comics are like champion right now, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff.
What's been like a surprise indie series for you this year? Something that you kind of didn't expect that knocked it out of the park?
Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
I just was on a podcast about that yesterday.
Yeah, that book is so good. When we first heard about it, obviously, we talked about it on our videos with Infinity Flux before it came out, and we were just going off of what the solicitation said. And I was like, oh, this looks funny. It's cute little bears, but there's going to be a little bit of a murder mystery. No, it's cute little bear characters who like straight up cut people's heads off. And like, I just like every single issue was like, I cannot wait to see what happens next. And it's
gory for how cute it is. Like you're seeing like intestines and like specific.
Yeah, like, it just blew me away. Yeah, it was so good. It's so cutesy and unassuming, and there's a bunch of murder in it, and the protagonist of the book is actually a bad guy, but she looks like a super cute bear. But she's a serial killer, but she's also the main character, and you're rooting for her.
It's not even like Dexter. It's not like there's like a code. It's just kill.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this because I just found out yesterday. There is a prequel to that book that came out in July, and I didn't know until now. You can get it online. They put it out at San Diego, and I was at San Diego, and I still didn't know. They only printed like 500 copies. I'll figure it out for you. But yeah, it's
okay. Holy cow!
One shot. And I had no idea until yesterday, and I was so mad because I love that book so much.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I gotta read that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, okay, I got a question. This applies to both of you guys because as people who are both people who are around comic shops a lot, as people who are in comic shops all the time, what would you say would be some comic book do's and don'ts? Like what would be some? Let's start with some do's. What's like some good comic book etiquette? What are some things that you want to practice if you're going in a comic shop every week?
You mean like as the customer?
Yeah. Like, what are some good things to know going in?
So
if you're a new customer,
pre-ordering is a win-win for everybody. Please pre-order your books as much as you're able to. It ensures that you get a copy of the book that you want. It helps the store know how many copies to order. It takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it because there is so much educated guessing that goes into ordering books. Like there's obviously the pre-order numbers, but then how many more do we think we might need? That kind of thing. And Tessa knows that even better than I do. But yeah, so please pre-order books. It's a good, shops want you to pre-order. They want you to go on their websites or fill their inboxes or whatever with those pre-orders. They want you to do that. That would be the number one thing, don't gatekeep. Like let everybody
that was exactly
enjoy
what I was waiting for.
Yeah, let everybody enjoy whatever they enjoy. It doesn't. If somebody likes a book that you don't like, it doesn't matter.
That's okay.
If a book exists that you don't like, you can just not read it. It's okay. It won't hurt you if it's over there and you don't like it. It's okay. That kind of thing.
That's my
how
philosophy.
Will everyone know if I hate it? I don't understand.
Right.
What do you think, Tessa? What are some definite like good advice to give to somebody that would be new to a shop? What's some stuff that you would want to do? Like something like establishing a relationship with the people at the shops or something like that.
Well, to peel back the curtain a little bit on like extrapolating on what Bumpkins was saying, I don't think people realize specifically on new issues how little shops actually make. Like you have to think most books are $4, right? And so the smaller your shop is, the less they make because you get a lesser discount the less books you order. So if you're going to a small shop, they might be making like 16 cents off a book, especially if they have like a sub discount. And that's fine. But then if they guess and nobody actually wants that comic and they're stuck with like 25 extra copies, that means maybe they're at a net loss that week for comics. Like, so like doing a pull list, that's kind of part of the reason why most shops offer a discount, because you are doing us a service by being like, oh yeah, I definitely want Batman. I definitely want Fantastic Four. Like having us know to order those takes away the idea of just, oh, well, especially if it's a shop that is smaller or doesn't have some kind of online service where you can sell them. It's like, who's going to buy like a Fantastic Four 16 from like 3 years ago? Like obviously there is someone, but the amount of time it's going to sit there rotting until it gets bought, like, you're going to lose some money.
Well, and to go along with that, like I said, please pre-order your books. But if you pre-order a book, please buy it, because your shop is paying for that first, and they're depending on you to come and then buy that from them. And if you don't, then they're out, unless somebody else comes in and buys it, they're out that money that they spent on that book. So please pre-order, but then please be responsible and buy the books that you did pre-order.
I think people are so scared to cancel their pull list. So I guess my number one thing is, dude, if you're moving or if you don't have the money for it, just cancel your pull list. Yeah. Don't wait for us to like just have to delinquent it and then like have to wait and lose.
That's something I've dealt with that before. Like I've been in emergency situations and it's an embarrassing situation to deal with, but it's the polite thing to do. And I've made that mistake myself in the past and I've learned from it and tried to grow from it and won't repeat it again. But it's definitely, you should pay them the respect to let them know for sure.
Yeah. And, you and I talked about your situation a bit and that was like an emergency, right? Like, but I'm just talking about like people who just casually stop going, like there's obviously circumstances, be in communication with your shop and things like that. But there's obviously extenuating circumstances, but don't just casually just leave it all there.
And like you don't have to go in person, send them an email. And the difference is if you want to cancel your pull list and you're worried about a social interaction, the difference is maybe you feel a little like weird telling people you don't want to be there anymore. But the other person, it'll be harder for them to afford dinner because they have $100 on hold for you, and that could be a lot for a shop. And if that happens for a lot more customers, because obviously you're not the only one.
Yeah,
it's a little tough.
And that's something important to keep in mind, obviously. And so, okay, with that, and I don't want to get too negative. I don't like talking negative on this show, but what would be some like things? Okay, what are some things that you guys have seen happen at comic shops before that you didn't like, or what are some things that you definitely would not want to do at a comic shop that you've seen before? I know I've seen some bad stuff in shops before.
The dreaded sign that says back issues are priced at the register.
Oh
yeah, that's horrible.
That's the quickest way for me to leave right there. I'm not going to do
horrible.
That.
It's even worse when they don't have a sign, because I know a lot of shops that just like change it at the register. Like at least if you have that, I know what I'm getting in for. Like, but just changing the prices at the register is like the worst faux pas you can do for me. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Does the extra $20 like matter that much to you that you're going to do that? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I found these books this one time at a flea market, and it was like First Jubilee and some other just small Marvel keys, but they were cool keys, and I was happy to find them. and I was going up to pay the guy for them, and he's like, "Nope, I'm holding those for some." They were like really good prices on the books, but I think he realized that, and he's like, "Yeah, those are on hold for somebody," and he wouldn't sell them to me. I was so mad.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of, obviously, I've never seen it. Obviously, it doesn't happen at our shop, but I've heard of people, of shops, like if a book comes out and it blows up, people, some owners will pull the books out of pull boxes and
throw it on eBay.
Throw them on eBay. And then the customers who did pre-order it don't get them. That's
I
shady.
will often only put like one copy up on the wall at a time or something like that, because people suck. And if you want to grab a copy for spec, whatever, but they'll grab all of them, and then all the people who want to read your random Captain Marvelish or whatever can't read it, and I hate that. Especially like on the day of. Like if it's weeks later and you get it, like all right, whatever. But you're stopping people who are going in on their comic shop on Wednesday to go grab their book to read their books like they do every week. Hate that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Don't buy all of them, dude. Buy one. Yeah, buy one. Go make your $50, whatever it is. Do it. Yeah, but don't buy like all 10. Like that's so scummy.
Yeah. So hopefully shops, have limited or a maximum number of books you can buy with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well,
that would be a good policy.
What's your favorite? Okay, this is just kind of random. What's your favorite comic book imprint out right now? What would be your favorite imprint? The most consistent, I guess DC, right? Wait, no.
Yeah,
indie imprint. What would be your favorite indie comic imprint?
Oh my gosh.
Who's the most consistent right now?
Probably. Well, I mean, do things like Skybound and Ghost Machine count at Image? Or if you're talking more indie than that, like so maybe like Skybound and Ghost Machine over at Image, because they have all the Transformer stuff, all the Rook and all that stuff. But if you're talking even more indie than that, like Vault is putting out they just put out some like consistently awesome books, and Mad Cave has a bunch of really good stuff too. So probably those two. A couple years ago, I maybe would have said Boom. They had Something Is Killing the Children. They had all. Right now they have Hello Darkness, which is a horror anthology that I love.
That's pretty good.
They don't have as much lately. But Vault, just every time. I read one yesterday that comes out this week called Godfather of Hell. Yeah, and that was really good, and that's a Vault book. And yeah, Vault's just got some really cool creative stuff out there. Yeah, Vault's really good.
I love their horror stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like they haven't done as much in the last few years because they've been focusing on the music industry, but their horror stuff goes so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you said you like Vault as well, Tessa, right? What's your favorite? What would you say is your favorite?
I am not trying to copy Bumpkins. I was literally thinking exactly Vault and Mad Cave. So I will go on further to say Distillery, I think, is kind of crushing it.
Yeah.
They make amazing stories. They are magazine size, but their books are gorgeous. They're books that feel, for the most part, worthy of being in those larger formats, because it's like Tulaute and stuff, like this delicious art that you want to enjoy in a larger format. And I adore their work. I've been a big Vault person. I used to love AWA. They're not putting out as much as they used to, but Vault was my number one. Bad Cave recently, though, like everything. And Magma is a really new publisher. They've been around.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So good.
Yeah. I think I only read one Magma book that I didn't really care for, but everything else was like, oh wow, this is, when we see a new Magma book's coming out, I definitely want to talk about that one, and when it comes in, I definitely want to preview it, for the Monday videos, that kind of thing. Yeah, because Magma's got some really good stuff.
And then if you like really indie stuff, like zines and some more punk rock vibes, go for Silver Sprocket if you're down for some weird stuff. Some of their stuff is so good. But there's a lot of weird stuff. They did win the Eisner last year. So like, they put out a lot of cool stuff.
I'm going to look for that.
A lot of weird stuff, though. Yeah, you got to be down for something unconventional, but like Sunflowers and Fruiting Bodies, they're so good. I used to love Behemoth, but they're not actually Behemoth anymore. But yeah, I like indie books, man. That's that's my jam.
I used to really like a lot of stuff from Aftershock, but Aftershock's not around anymore.
But they decided to become horrible people.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They just stopped paying their creators.
Oh, okay.
I just want Maniac in New York.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's Scotty?
Jeez. Oh, I'm sorry. I just said I just want Maniac in New York. I just want them to finish the rest of that volume.
I have a hardcover that's been on FOC like every month for a year.
Yeah, that's a great series. I love Maniac in New York.
Yeah.
No, they were my favorite for a long time.
let's see. I got a couple of best new character. What is your favorite new character to come out in the past couple of years? Because there's been some new characters. Marvel's came out with some and DC's rolled out some as well. Well, there's a lot of indie characters as well too.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to like the Ghost Machine stuff, Geiger, that whole universe is awesome. Yes. But then also, the characters in Rook Exodus, Rook and Direwolf, and those guys are great. If we're leaning towards the big two, like I am a big fan of Spider Boy. I think Spider Boy is so much fun. Yeah, I like him. I think he's fun. And we're about to get a Spider Girl. I think maybe next week she's going to appear in that book. And so there's all kinds of.
And they're doing a Spider Boy and Kid Pulled one shot.
Yep.
So we're getting that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Marvel's about to. I don't know how. Well, yeah, they are about to release a new Champions book that has a lot of the sidekick characters that were originally on the variant covers.
Yeah, the new Champions.
Yeah, and so they were just like, because I remember when we talked about them on our show at Infinity Flux, we had to tell people, now this is just a variant. This character is not in the book. This is not a real character. It's just a special sidekick themed variants. But now they are going to be real characters. They weren't at the time, but now they are. So Marvel's about to drop a whole bunch of those on us.
I actually heard Fire Guy Ryan, our buddy Ryan, was actually talking about on Tom's show earlier that it would be wise to go and try to find those other new Champions variants right now while they're not. It's kind of a good cold spec to find if you can find them cheap, because some of those other characters may be utilized. Because what's a Mayday Storm, or what was her name? The new Storm character.
Maystorm
she ended up being used.
Yeah, Uncanny X-Men.
And then Phantasma or whatever. Yeah.
And those variants are so cheap.
Whatever. Do what now?
All those variants are like so cheap though. All the other ones, like they were so cheap, so it's easy to kind of pick up.
Yeah, but he was saying that would be good something like good cold spec to grab out of like dollar bins or something if you found them real cheap right now. I think that's good advice.
Everyone should always listen to Ryan and do everything that he says all the time.
Yeah.
So my only thought about that is, because I'm not a spec guy at all. I do not care for the monetary value aspect of the hobby. I like the stories and the art and everything. The only thing I would say to that about that is like, going to grab all those variants. Like these characters, especially knowing Marvel, they're probably not going to be around that long. So they'll probably, be around for like a story arc or whatever, and then we'll never see them again. So, I don't know about that.
My personal belief on spec stuff is like, I only spec on things that I actively love. So I had 22 copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 when it was between $5 and $20 because like I liked giving it to kids. I think it's a cool character. Like it was when I would give away all the time or whatever. So like there's a lot of things like that where I spec on something, but because I love it, like I will also, I think it's a really cool character that I love or I want to introduce other people to. So like there's the caveat of, if this never raises in price and I have 20 copies of this book, then I don't care. I'm super happy with whatever. Yeah. Like I have a bunch of copies of First Booster Gold because I'm like the #1 Booster Gold fan.
I love Booster
Gold. That's awesome.
And there's my favorite like single issue to read is Batman Annual 2 from the Tom King run. So I just grab that book whenever I see it in dollar bins, and like it's not like I think it's like a $10 book, whatever. Yeah. And it's not like I'm buying because I think it's gonna be $1 million, but I love giving it to people to be like, here, do you want to cry? Have your heart broken? Like
that's awesome. Twisted. Tessa likes to make people cry. Make a note of that.
I do. It's a fun hobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to have some not nerdy hobbies.
Right.
Oh man. I was gonna ask you, I forget the next thing I was gonna ask. Hold on, let's see. Oh man, what was it?
You? Like, what are one of your favorite characters from recent years?
Yeah.
Let's grill you. Let's turn the tables around.
Oh, I also really enjoy Spider Boy. I've been collecting his stuff since his first appearance. I've been picking up every main cover for every issue, and some people say that it's too childish for them, but I have fun. It's a fun read, and I think it's targeted to a younger audience.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's a fun read. It's a good fun read.
Yeah,
and I like the character, and I enjoy where they're going in the story. Especially now, like in the recent last couple of issues. I think that it's evolving and it's getting to be a lot more fun even. But
I
agree
because
I like Chasm.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm really wanting a Ben Reilly redemption arc because I like Ben Reilly a lot, and I'm hoping this Chasm Curse of Cain miniseries, at the end of it, like Ben Reilly will have redeemed himself, and hey, look, I'm Spider-Man or Scarlet Spider or some new name again. I want a redemption because Marvel's done him dirty for a long time. So
they have. I agree. So, but you're not a fan of Chasm. You don't care for that character.
I just want Ben to be a good guy again.
Yeah.
After all, obviously, like your son's totally named after him. So.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Actually, Bumpkin's favorite title right now is Miles Morales. That's like something I know he was talking about, but that's like his favorite. There's like the sword he really likes.
Oh my gosh. Every time we go on live on TikTok, somebody comes in and talks about how awesome Miles Morales' Venom Saber is. And I think that's the absolute dumbest thing in all of comics is Miles Morales. I love Miles Morales. But him having a sword made out of his Venom lightning blast is the dumbest thing ever. And I pray every issue that he loses that power.
What is spidery about that?
There's nothing spidery about it. It's so stupid,
Agreed.
It drives me crazy. I hate it so much.
Well, what do you have? You have so much going on with Infinity Flux and your own stuff. What do you have? What can we expect from you in the coming months in the near future?
Greatness.
Greatness?
Greatness. But so I used to do for a couple of years, I did these series of, originally they were just tweets, and then I started doing videos called History of Marvel, where I would go through the entire history of Marvel, starting with, Fantastic Four #1. I would read one issue a day, and I would read them in the order that they came out. So, I would read Fantastic Four #1, and then whatever else came out that month of that year, to try to recreate the feeling of what it was like when these books were coming out. And I would do videos about those. And I did it for a couple years, and then it started to become a little bit more time consuming than I had time for. So I stopped doing those, but I've really been toying with bringing that back in a different style, and maybe not doing it till like January, and then like just having a whole bunch of them queued up, ready to go. But I also want to, because I've never done it before all together, I would love to read as much of the post-crisis DC as I can, starting with Crisis on Infinite Earths. I've read that before. I love it, but I've never read that and then led straight into John Byrne's Man of Steel stuff while also reading, Ted Kord Blue Beetle, while also reading the Batman stuff, the Wally West Flash, right, that came right after that. I've never read it all like as that came out. I've read it piecemeal. So I was like, well, maybe after October, I'll start reading DC, like the entire post-crisis DC, and maybe I can make like some History of Marvel type videos, but that stuff instead. So I'm not really sure. I'm toying around with some things, but I am wanting to start doing some kind of consistent daily. I mean, I post videos every day, but I am wanting to have like a consistent daily like series of videos that people can look forward to every day about a book. But time is just so limited right now. It's hard to fit that stuff in.
I feel like trying to stay along with that daily attitude too makes it like so much harder, where it's like, oh, just a regular series in general is already such a task. And then it's like, what if we made it a million times harder?
Yeah, it's just tough because, I don't have a whole lot of time to read this stuff because I'm so busy with, my regular job, and then, being a dad, and then, the work that I do with Infinity Flux, that actually does take quite a bit of time. So the time that I have to read recreationally, just my own stuff, is actually more limited than people might think. So it's kind of tough to fit that in.
Bumpkins, just ignore all of your other responsibilities and only do comics.
Well, I
don't
wish.
worry about dad. No worrying about having a job. Just comics.
Yeah, I mean, I the couple bucks that I made from the TikTok creator program before I left it, that could sustain me for a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Matt brought up, he's a fantastic father. You can see some of his adventures with his son on Instagram. If you follow him at BumpkinsTV, they're always going and checking out cool movies. You freak with movie theaters and always going to see the newest DC and MCU and horror movies. And what's some of the better movies that you've seen recently? Because I know you see a lot of movies as well.
Good question.
Oh my gosh, what was one? Well, I mean, Deadpool Wolverine was awesome.
Yes, it was awesome.
Oh gosh, we've seen a bunch this year. I'm trying to think of like some of the ones that we really liked. I can't. I can't even think of, you put me on the spot. Like if you hadn't asked me that, I could have told you all of them, but it's like, oh shoot, now I can't think of any.
Too.
Yeah.
I blank out so bad on a live.
Wasn't Godzilla -1 early this year? My son's a big Godzilla fan. We went and saw that and loved it. Beetlejuice was really fun.
Was it good?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It took a while to get this. Once the story got going, once you got into the meat and potatoes of the story, it actually ended up being really, really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Good to
hear. Yeah. There's all kinds of good stuff, and there's some that don't really pan out, but then there's others that are like, wow, that was really awesome. I'll watch that again.
I wish I saw as many movies as you guys do.
You could if you'd stop saying at work till 3 a.m. You could go to some movies.
Damn. Okay.
I can't get my son to really go anywhere with me, man. I see you guys going to movies all the time, and I can't get him to go anywhere with me.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
How old is he?
He's in a weird teenage phase where he doesn't really want to do anything. So you know how that goes.
I understand. Oh yeah. I understand that.
Well, Bumpkin's son is actually cool, so.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. There's times though, like I can't get him to watch movies here at home though, because like, well, I just want to, watch a YouTube video and then go play, whatever with my friends. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll just watch this movie by myself. Shucks, that kind of thing.
Next time, just let me know and I'll drive down.
Okay, that works.
Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, dude, man, this has been so much fun. I really appreciate both of you coming and hanging out with Tessa. Thank you for helping me with this tonight. I really appreciate you. I know both of you guys are really busy, so I really am grateful to have both of you here tonight. And Bumpkins, man, it's awesome to have you as a special guest. I wanted to have you on for a long time, dude. I'm so glad to have you with me tonight.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I appreciate you asking, because, like I said, I've been wanting to come on for a long time, because you're doing such a great job over here. But like our schedules, my Monday nights are full just as yours are, so they never lined up. So yeah, I appreciate you, you putting this other option out here and just having me on, because I've been enjoying like watching you grow and seeing how, like I said, your intro says like 2.9 subs, but you got to update that, right? Because you're at 4 something now and to the moon, right? So I've just been enjoying watching you have some success.
Yeah, those new Wednesday videos have been doing pretty well for me. It's been fun too. It's been a fun little journey, and I'm glad to have people like you guys here with me for the ride. It's been a lot of fun, and it's part of what I love about doing this. Is just it's an excuse to get to hang out with other people, other like-minded people that are really cool in the community. And I have so much respect for you both, and you guys are both welcome back anytime you want to come back. And is there anything you want to? What do you guys come? I guess we should talk about what you guys got coming up before we end it. What do you got coming up, Tessa?
Oh, jumping to me. Okay.
As far as live streams and
I have a video that I'm very excited for that I really wanted to have out before New York Comic Con, but considering I leave in like 8 hours, I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'll have that coming out.
I owe you something for that too.
That's not this. That's an Instagram reel, but
okay, something different. Okay, cool.
Yeah, if someone wants to see Bumpkins, and they just cannot figure out how to spell Bumpkins, go onto my Instagram and you can see his face being very charming on my Instagram soon.
Yeah.
But I have a bunch of stuff I'm working on that I'm really excited for. New York Comic Con is kind of the end of me traveling all around, so it'll be easier for me to make more stuff, which is nice. And I have a few things in the can right now that I'm excited for.
You're going to make tons of content at New York Comic Con, right?
Yeah,
totally. No, I'm going to work with Kinetic, which is an art rep place that I've really liked for a long time. So I get to deal with them. And then on Wednesday, I'm speaking at some panels and stuff. So I kind of only have one free-ish day at New York, really. So
yeah, they're kind of rolling out the red carpet for Tessa up at New York Comic Con. It's pretty remarkable. Wow. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they were like, October is her favorite time because in New York and Halloween, we just got to pay respect to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's my favorite thing.
I'm excited for you. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
You're going to have so much fun.
Now we just have to get Bumpkins to get up and go to a con with me.
Yes, there you go.
Definitely do Heroes Con for sure. If nothing before, definitely Heroes Con. Yeah.
A lot of people I know, most of the people that I'm friends with in the community go to Heroes Con. I hear that's a really good one to go to.
Full best convention if you like actual comics. If you just like MCU movies, skip it. It's not for you. But like if you like reading comics, if you go to your comic shop, if you get back issues, Heroes Con is perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
Well, Matt, what do you have coming up on your channel, or what do you got coming up? Period.
Nothing too different than the stuff I already do. I roll out 2 or 3 days worth of preview videos every week. Previewing some of the books that come out that week. I got a few more to post this week. We've still got our videos at Infinity Flux that we do 3 to 4 times a week. We're still going strong with those. Andy and I have been doing. Yep. We're still kind of fairly new to doing live videos every other Wednesday, where we answer viewer questions and talk to people as they come in. Because the videos we record now.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah. The videos we do now are just straight YouTube videos, and we do TikTok live while we do it, but we can't talk to anybody because we're just sitting there recording a pre-recorded YouTube video. So we started doing a live show where we could actually interact with people, show their comments on screen, talk about it. And those we've done 5 of them so far, I think, and they've been really fun. So they're a half hour long, and we just talk about. It's kind of like the online equivalent of just going to your comic shop and just talking about whatever. So it's kind of that. So we're still going strong with those, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, you guys that are watching, if you're not already following and subscribed to, be sure to go follow Tessa.is.a.nerd. Is that how it's at? Tessa.is.a.nerd on Instagram. And is that your name as well on YouTube?
It's just Tessa's a Nerd on YouTube. No shenanigans.
Tessa's a Nerd on YouTube. Okay,
no dots on YouTube.
Dots are Instagram
be sure
exclusive.
You're following her. Awesome. Yes, be sure you're following her. Be sure you're subscribed. And Matt is BumpkinsTV on all platforms, and he is also featured on Infinity Flux, which I highly suggest you go subscribe to if you're not. A great way to keep up to date with the comics that are coming out. Thanks again, you guys. This has been an absolute blast. And I just want to thank everybody watching in the chat, anybody catching the replay. I'll be back next week, same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have creator Evan G next week. We're going to check out his awesome comic book Kickstarter that he has.
Nice.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Evan is an awesome dude. So it's going to be fun. And I hope that you come back and join me. And we'll end it how we all do with a little Biggie Shack. I'll see you guys next time. Later, y'all.
See you guys.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.